Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, a younger Karen at Lowe's. Entitled flight passenger. Entitled family won't move when backing out of parking spot. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. A younger Karen at Lowe's. My husband and I decided to upgrade our fridge, so we went to Lowe's. We paid for it, and my husband and an employee were getting the box on the cart, so I decided to look around and then waited for them next to a fridge that was on display in the front. This woman walks up and with a bad attitude she said, stressing the word "I am taking it." I looked up surprised and told her, "Don't worry, I don't want it." She mumbled something to her husband and he looked embarrassed because he told her to just shut up. My husband came up with the fridge and the flat cart and she turned around to look and her mouth dropped open. She basically gasped because the floor sample she was buying didn't have any special features on it. She started complaining to her husband how she wants one like the one they got. She was pissed and walked away as her husband told her, "It's not in our budget." I didn't do anything to her. I was on my phone and I didn't appreciate her tone, but she got madder when her husband told me that it's a nice fridge. I could have told her off, but who wants to argue with a fool? When you argue with a fool, there are two fools arguing. Exactly. Reminds me of the story a dog trainer told about the time her husband yelled at their Airedale, named Texas, because the dog wouldn't stop barking. Texas was delighted. He was no longer alone. He had a friend. There they were, Robert and Texas, barking at each other. This was not, needless to say, quite the response Robert had really intended, smiley face. Sometimes Karen wants to Karen. Arguing with a fool is like playing chess with pigeons. Just when you think you are winning, they knock all the pieces over and crap on the board. Stinks to be her husband. You had a 60-second interchange with her. He has her for a lifetime. I had my frig delivered. How did you get it in a cart and your car? Entitled flight passenger. I was flying home to Australia once on a long haul, and a poor young mum had very young baby twins. They cried almost the whole time while she tried to juggle them between the little cot thing and her arms, flinging bottles around the lot. Eventually, I asked if I could help, and we spent the next few hours with a twin each walking up and down the aisles patting their backs. When the time came to get our baggage down at the end and the mom was thanking me profusely, her husband emerged from the back of the plane where he had been sleeping the entire flight. It emerged. I was completely disgusted and still am years later. That's not entitled, that's just a jackass. He felt entitled to my nannying services. Good on you for helping that poor frazzled, exhausted mum. I'm guilty of this, are so quick to judge the parents of loud/disruptive children, especially on planes, but slow to offer assistance. If I had an award to give, you would get it. You did her a kindness her own husband wouldn't do. As the father of those babies, he should have been helping her. Seems he sat at the back on purpose. But thank you for being a kind stranger to help her. As a mom myself, I had a girl my age sit down in a restaurant with me and held my infant son so I could eat. He'd been crying and I was just gonna pack up and pay and leave. But she held him for me to eat, and that kindness hasn't been forgotten. Entitled family won't move when backing out of parking spot. Family was leaving an event and we got to our car. A mother, her mother, and about 4 kids were right next to our car with a stroller blocking me getting into the driver's seat. The grandmother moves the stroller to the opposite side of our car. My daughter takes a little time to get in and another family leaves to the right of us, meaning it wasn't the first family's car. They tell us to take our time. With my daughter finally in the car, I start to back up. By the way, it's a really tight lot. The original family to the left of us won't move, even though they see us leaving. I start to back up several times and the mom keeps moving back toward my car. Finally, I get out and say, "Sorry, could you please just move over a little? I'm trying to back up." She and her kids move like 2 inches. I back up and try to go forward, but they keep moving out. There's like no clearance, and they clearly see me. I'm doing like a 3-point turn here. The kids keep moving in and out as I'm trying to leave. I try to give myself more clearance, and of course I tap the car behind me. They still will not move and give me space. Finally I beep and say, "Can you please move? I don't want to hit anyone." They just continue to stare. It's unreal. Somehow I get out of the space, but I'm literally baffled. I had initially waited, asked nicely, and they still wouldn't budge. I always try to be courteous of other people, and this was so rude. I was seething. Honestly, I didn't want to hit any kids, and the mother and grandmother didn't even seem to care. After asking nicely a couple of times, I would have just laid on the horn until they moved. I'd gaff if there are other people around. If you're just standing around and refusing to move as I'm trying to back up and leave, then I'm letting everyone know. It's de-evolution in action. The reversal of the natural order of evolution. Stupid people reproduce at a much higher rate than fully developed people, and modern medicine keeps them alive to keep doing stupid things. When self-preservation instinct has been lost, the bloodline is lost for any purpose, but they keep reproducing. The human race halted its own evolution when they created cities. This allowed the bottom of the barrel to continue existence when they can't hunt, gather, grow crops/livestock, be in situations where intelligence rises to the top to solve problems. Then came modern medicine, eventually antibiotics, that kept the bottom end alive no matter natural selection or the natural order evolution. It's actually ironic that the top end of achievement and intelligence made possible for the bottom end to survive when you think about it. People are idiots, and I am often astonished at how uncaring people can be about their children's safety. I was at an event featuring an operating vintage steam locomotive last year. A father, I presume, had a baby on a carrier on his chest, a younger child in a wagon, and a toddler by the hand. As the train approached, he moved right up next to the track. Anyone who has dealt with children know how fast a toddler can bolt and how little thought they have for their own safety. I was relieved when the railroad and local police moved everyone back to a safe distance. When I was in 4th grade, I think, we had a school field trip to the state capitol and we took the train up. There was a yellow line on the platform that you had to stand behind to be safe from the train coming in. For some reason, our teacher made us line up on the yellow line as the train was coming in. Honestly, there are a lot of dumb people in the world. Just other day my mom was driving and there was a guy riding his bicycle on the sidewalk. We saw him and he saw us, but he decided he can go ahead thinking he can make to the other side of the road. He make it alright, he just lucky that my mom hit the brakes before she could have hit him. I bet they were hoping you'd hit one of them so they could sue. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.